Alright, so let's take this nut off here. Guess you're supposed to take this other cover off the other side and loosen that side too and pull the whole wheel back. Or you can cheat and do that. So I guess I'll just pull this motor out while I got it out. While I got this up on the bench. Well, that's a big grommet. It appears the brake mechanism here gets in the way of taking this motor out all the way. There's a screw right here and a slotted hole. This must be to adjust the brake, but it doesn't want to loosen. Oh, I see. There's a cutout right over here, and if you line the cable up with the cutout, twist the motor around, line the cable up with the cutout, it comes right out. Alright, so there's the motor. This is the Dexon Micro Motor, China. 24 volt, 100 watt. Alright, the rest of this, as far as I'm concerned, is just trash. Not worth keeping anything off of this. Fit that puppy right in the basket. It's funny, you could actually use this as a regular scooter. By taking the belt off and allowing that rear wheel to freewheel, you'd literally have a scooter with a brake. Yeah, you're gonna have to readjust the brake to get it to work. Again, not worth the effort. Go with plan A on this one and throw it out. Alright, throw these covers out. Like I said, I think I'll keep these 3 spacers and these screws, these long screws with the motor. Somebody who's into robotics could probably do something kind of cool with that motor, maybe. Build an oversized RC, I guess, right? Now let's get the belt on this other one. Okay, so if you actually want to change a belt on one of these things, what you're going to do is you're going to take these 2 plastic guards off the sides, like I did. Take the 2 nuts off the axle, take these 2 little adjusting cams off, and then you still can't pull the wheel out because it's being held captive by this brake drum assembly. So there's this Phillips head screw right here that if you loosen the screw, it's in a slot that should allow us to pull the brake drum assembly towards the rear. Funny thing is, not loosening. Ah, there's a little tiny nut on the back side there I didn't see. So when I'm turning this screw, the nut is just turning on the back side, and that's why it's not loosening. That's going to be a really small metric size, more than likely. Looks like 8mm. That actually looks like it might be easier to get at with a socket. Alright, I'm going to try loosening it to start and seeing whether or not I can slide this far enough back to put the belt on there. Yeah, see, I can do that. I don't have to take it completely out. So, I'm going to get my belt in here, like so. It's tricky, but it can be done. The trick is to pull it back to get it past the axle. Once you've got it past the axle, push it back forward so that the tooth gear, drive gear on the hub there, moves out of the way. And voila. So I'm going to throw these bits of hardware back on here loosely. Okay. Now, to get the belt onto the motor, I'm going to take these 3 screws out, slide the motor out that way, put the belt on, and then slide the motor back in. Well, I apologize, but I'm sure I'm going to have to edit the heck out of this video and probably cut out a lot of this stuff because I'm just not really good at getting the camera angles tonight.
Daddy.
Yeah?
Anthony wants to talk to you.
What?
Anthony wants to talk to you. Want to bring the phone down?
No, I'll come up. I'll be right up. My sister-in-law calling to wish me a happy birthday. Alright, so you take those long screws out, these standoffs fall out. Slide the motor back. Take the belt. Get the belt onto the motor pulley. Alright, slide the motor back up. Take one of the standoffs, probably this top one is the easiest one to get first, and move it around until you get the screw to go through it. Then wiggle your motor until you get that to line up so the screw goes in to the motor. And then probably don't want to tighten that down right away because now you get to play the game of getting these in, which these long fingers come in handy for this. Imagine you could hold them with needle nose pliers too. And the hardest one is going to be this one here because the belt's actually kind of in the way now. So the motor doesn't have any really alignment to it, it's pretty much captive, so once you tighten these screws back down, don't really have to worry about whether or not it shifted position any. But the rear wheel is just like on a bicycle, or a motorcycle for that matter, whereas you get the chain on one side, so you want to bring this cam to bring the wheel back far enough so you have proper tension on the belt. But at the same time, you're going to have to do this other side so that the wheel is not crooked. To add insult to injury, I have no idea what the proper tension of this belt would be. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with pretty tight. That's probably 1/4 inch of free play, if that. Oops. Yeah, of course the cam wants to turn in the loosening direction as I tighten it. So let me see if I can just kind of grab this, hold it from turning a little bit. Alright, so I think if I get these cams roughly in the same orientation on both sides, that alignment would probably be pretty close. Looking at it, it looks like this needs to come back a little further. Well, that actually looks pretty good. Hey Steve, you need to clean up that pigsty of a workbench. Yeah, you're telling me. I gotta actually move the whole workbench. I got a whole nother plan going here. I'll get into that some other time. Alright, I just bolted the 2 side covers. Bolted. Screwed. I just screwed the 2 side covers back on. Let's toss the batteries back in and see if this thing still works. the wiring all back in where it should be. See if I can find some foam tape, some adhesive foam strips that were down in here that actually act to cushion the batteries. I had to tear that out. It was stuck to the batteries. See if I could find something to make up for that. I'm just going to use some of this thin foam material that they use for shipping. And put a piece in the bottom to cushion the bottom. And then I'm going to wedge some stuff in on the side. To help keep it from keep the batteries from trying to shift around. Alright, so I just cut some of this foam material, some blocks of it, and stuffed them in there. And I'm going to put the top cover back on, and this thing's done. And then the only thing I've got to do now is I've got to get a dedicated charger for it, because that's this little 24 volt charger that I came up with. I don't think it's going to cut the mustard as far as these batteries, because when these batteries are fully charged, no loaded, they're reading about 25 volts. So a 24 volt charger is really not going to do much for that, for charging those. Probably the actual output of the charger that came with this is probably somewhere around 26 or 27 volts. All right, but for the time being, I'm going to tack a little video on at the end of this before I close it out. Just went to put the top cover on and realized the batteries have to go in sideways. They go in like that, so my little foam spacer blocks are pretty much useless. This weekend we'll shoot some video of the kids riding it. Kickstand's up, power's on. Listen, go down to the end of the street and turn around and come back, okay? Because there's not a lot of battery. Go ahead. Boy, either that batteries are already weak on that thing, or that thing is kind of lame. One of the two. I think your manual one goes faster. So
because the battery.
You think the batteries are low?
Yeah, the battery's really low. It's not gonna hold you, Daddy.
What do you mean hold me?
It's gonna break.
I'm not that heavy. Besides, this is supposedly some grown-ups even use these to like go to work. Oh, the brake could use some adjustment.
How about Peter's?
Peter's what?
Old one.
What about Peter's old one? You want more than a completely dead battery out here? That's a complete piece of junk?
Can Mark have that one and I can have Peter's old one?
Sure, this is the faster of the two.
What?
This is the faster of the two. This is a 24 volt, that's a 12 volt. Peter's old one is a 12 volt. You can have Peter's slow
okay,
old
I'll
one.
have this one.
Oh, wait a minute, you just said.
No, I want this one and then Mark can have Peter's old one.
I don't know if you're going to have any of them where you guys leave stuff outside in the rain.
I won't.
I had two of these I was trying to fix up. The other one was junky because somebody left it out in the rain. The battery's kind of dead on this, so you got to help it when you get to like the hills and stuff.
You have to help it. Who went first already?
He went.
Yeah.
So you're going to get on it or what?
Yeah. You can't ride around. You have to go up that hill and then turn.
Yeah, go down, turn around, and come back. That rattling noise is probably that little control box. Guess I'll have to put some foam in there to keep that from moving around.
Mark's not gonna kick and do it because he thinks the electric engine is strong enough.
Well, when it stops and he falls over, then, you know, pretty much it'll make him do something.
You have to
Good enough.
You're supposed to kick it up the hill.